speaking with clear intensity. Imagine, imagine you are standing at a major intersection in your life.
Softly, right?
And in one hand, you are holding this highly detailed, guaranteed map. It points to a completely secure, predictable, and, well, comfortable future.
Thoughtfully. A very safe path.
Exactly. But in your other hand, you hold a compass. And this compass is wild, it's unpredictable, and it only points towards your greatest passion.
Warmly. But you can't hold both.
No, you can't. Which one do you actually choose? Welcome to today's deep dive. We are exploring a truly profound narrative today about human connection, the heavy expectations of tradition, and the sheer courage it takes to leap into the unknown.
Speaking slowly, with deliberate intentionality, welcome to you, the listener. Today we are really taking our time. We are going to intentionally slow down, to examine a beautifully simple yet deeply complex story about two lifelong friends.
Yeah, a man and a woman who suddenly find themselves standing exactly at that crossroads we just mentioned.
Precisely. The themes we'll uncover today. So, security versus passion, fear versus vulnerability, they are completely universal. They are fundamental to the human experience.
Setting the scene.
Yeah.
So let's lay out the core premise for you. The woman in our source material, she is at a really critical juncture. Her parents are strongly urging her toward an arranged marriage.
Right, which is a very common reality for many.
Right, and from her perspective, this path makes a lot of logical sense. I mean, it represents practicality, family backing, and essentially a lifelong safety net.
But quietly in the background, there's her absolute best friend.
Yes, the man in our story. He's been harboring very deep romantic feelings for her, and his worldview sits in total opposition to hers.
He believes fiercely in choosing love first, despite how completely unpredictable, the terrain of love can be.
Analytical, which introduces the central tension of our analysis today. It's a tension that echoes across cultures, across generations.
In the architecture of a long-term life partnership, is it wiser to build your foundation on guaranteed structural security or to base it entirely on unpredictable passion?
Thoughtfully. If we're going to understand how this resolves, we really have to deeply analyze the mechanics of these two conflicting philosophies. Let's look at the map versus the compass.
Okay, I love this analogy. Let's unpack it.
So, the arranged marriage is the map. It's safe. It has been vetted by families, by society, by, generations of people who have traveled the exact same road before you.
Adding. You know exactly where the pitfalls are.
Exactly. And you know where the secure resting stops are. A love marriage, on the other hand, is the compass. It tells you your true north, which is your emotional connection, but you have absolutely no idea if there is a mountain or a ravine directly in front of you.
Insightful. The map versus the compass is such an excellent framework. Let's analyze the psychological mechanism behind the map first. The woman values the arranged marriage because it relies on structural compatibility. When two families agree on a union, they are aligning shared values, financial expectations, cultural norms.
All before the couple even begins their life together.
Right. And psychologically, this minimizes cognitive load. It reduces the daily, exhausting friction of trying to merge two completely different lives.
It allows them to exist in a space of relative predictability.
Affirming. Yeah.
Challenging, raising an eyebrow.
Yeah.
But let me push back on that, though.
Please do.
I look at the woman's perspective, and I think she has a highly valid pragmatic point that goes way beyond just cognitive load.
How so?
Well, we know biologically and psychologically that passion fades.
Right.
The initial chemical rush of romantic love, it always cools down over time.
Thoughtfully, it does. The honeymoon phase always ends.
Right. So if passion is a temporary state, isn't structural compatibility, that detailed map, a significantly smarter, more reliable foundation for long-term survival?
That's a very fair core.
I mean, why risk your entire future on a feeling that is literally scientifically guaranteed to diminish?
Nodding slowly. That is a highly critical observation, and it cuts right to the core of the debate here. What we are analyzing is the fundamental difference between pragmatism and unpredictability.
Okay, unpack that for me.
The woman operates on a concept we can call growing to love someone. She believes that if the structural foundation is immovable, well, love is just a seed.
A seed that can be planted in that secure environment.
Exactly. And slowly nurtured over decades.
Listening intently. So she is prioritizing the environment over the initial emotion.
Yes. Now, contrast that with the man. He operates on the belief of growing together to keep love alive.
Right.
He believes you must start with the raw material of passion to survive the inevitable hardships of life.
So it's about the starting material for him.
Exactly. If we use the architecture of a house as a metaphor, the woman's approach is like building a massive earthquake-proof concrete foundation first.
And then spending the next 30 years slowly decorating the inside.
Warmly. Precisely. But the man's approach, it's like finding a beautiful wild plot of land that you are deeply passionate about,
But you have to build your shelter with your bare hands.
while the storm is already raging around you.
Processing the metaphor. Wow. That completely reframes the situation. When you put it like that, it becomes obvious that neither path is easy.
Not at all.
The commitment required is actually identical. It's just the sequence of the commitment that changes.
That's a beautiful way to phrase it, the sequence of commitment.
Yeah, because the arranged marriage applies the heavy lifting first, expecting the emotion to follow. The love marriage applies the emotion first, expecting the heavy lifting to hold it together.
Emphasizing the point, precisely. Neither path is devoid of extreme effort. And if both methods require immense commitment, then the true wedge driving these two friends apart isn't the concept of hard work at all.
No, then what is it?
It is their underlying psychological relationship with fear.
Shifting tone. Oh, wow. Which takes us right into the darker, more paralyzed aspects of human nature.
Serious? Yes, it does.
Because as they debate these marriage styles, it becomes clear that beneath the philosophy, they are both completely frozen by the fear of the unknown.
We really have to examine the specific fears driving their behaviors here. The woman is terrified. The source material outlines her fear of heartbreak, her fear of a partner changing their mind over time.
Which happens so often in life.
It does. And her deep fear of personal failure. She clings to the security of her parents' choice because it acts as an insurance policy.
An insurance policy against her own potential mistakes.
Exactly.
Empathetic. And neurologically, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Humans have a very well-documented negativity bias. We heavily prefer a known negative or a known baseline over an unknown positive.
Right. We want safety.
Her brain is actively rewarding her for choosing the safe map, because navigating that unpredictable compass, it triggers a literal threat response in her nervous system.
That is a brilliant application of loss aversion. And we see a different form of that exact same paralysis in the man. Well, he is gripped by the terror of losing his baseline. He has these profound romantic feelings, but he is terrified that confessing them will ruin a long-standing, cherished friendship.
Ah, right. So he's experiencing status quo bias.
Exactly. He would rather suffer in silence than risk disrupting the current dynamic.
Contemplative. We do this so often in life, don't we?
All the time.
We trick ourselves into believing that if we just maintain the status quo, if we just avoid making a hard decision, we are somehow protecting ourselves from risk.
But we aren't.
No. Staying completely still on a busy highway is still a choice.
Deeply analytical. It is a choice with massive consequences. And here is the highly motivational insight hidden within the man's dialogue later in the story. He realizes a fundamental truth.
Which is?
Nothing in life is certain. And I want you, the listener, to deeply internalize that concept.
Softly. Not even the detailed map.
Affirming firmly, not even the map. A vetted, structurally sound arranged marriage can still end in heartbreak.
A safe, predictable path can still lead to profound loneliness.
Exactly. When we avoid a terrifying decision, we are not eliminating risk. We are merely choosing a more socially acceptable form of risk.
Oh, that's powerful.
We are trading the risk of failure for the absolute certainty of regret.
Nodding.
Yeah.
And because the certainty of regret eventually becomes too painful to bear, the narrative reaches a breaking point.
It has to.
Right. The unspoken fear becomes heavier than the fear of rejection. This forces a catalyst, an act of radical honesty. The man finally confesses his love to her.
Observant. This introduces vulnerability not just as some emotional buzzword, but as a crucial mechanism for human connection.
A mechanism.
Yes, radical honesty is essentially a system update in a relationship.
I like that. A system update.
It forces both parties to stop operating on old assumptions and deal with the reality of the present moment.
Playing devil's advocate. But let me pause you there because I really want to look at the ethics of his timing.
Okay, let's look at it.
Was it actually fair of him to do this right then? I mean, she is already dealing with immense familial pressure. Her parents are pushing her toward this marriage. She is internally conflicted. And right when she is at her most stressed, he drops this massive emotional bomb on her.
Nodding. It seems harsh.
Didn't he just completely destabilize her when she was already dizzy?
Pausing thoughtfully, I completely understand why it appears selfish on the surface, but I will strongly defend the absolute necessity of his confession, regardless of the timing.
Really? Why?
Because withholding the truth to protect someone is very often just a way of protecting yourself from their reaction.
Oh, wow.
If he had kept quiet to spare her immediate stress, he would be letting her walk into a lifelong, binding commitment based on incomplete data.
Processing.
Yes.
Based on incomplete data. So by speaking up, he is actually giving her full agency.
Nodding, yes. He is giving her the truth she needs to make a fully informed decision about her own life.
That makes a lot of sense.
And what is truly remarkable is how he handles the aftermath. He does not demand an immediate answer.
No, he doesn't.
He asks her to figure it out with him, giving her the critical space needed to process this system update.
Observing. And her reaction is fascinating. She doesn't instantly run into his arms, but she doesn't reject him either. She is completely torn.
Warmly. And being torn is a psychological achievement here.
With achievement.
It is a sign of high emotional maturity. When faced with shocking news, the amygdala, the emotional center of the brain, wants to instantly trigger a fight-or-flight response.
Right. It wants immediate action to relieve the tension.
Yes. It wants her to either angrily reject him to protect her safety or blindly rebel against her parents. But by sitting in the discomfort of being torn, she is actively engaging her prefrontal cortex.
She is pausing.
She is pausing, analyzing the new data, and reflecting rather than reacting impulsively.
Understanding the depth.
Yeah.
It is like she's been handed the compass, and instead of throwing away the map in a panic, she's taking a quiet moment to actually study the needle.
Smiling. Exactly.
She's doing the hard cognitive work.
She is refusing to take the easy way out of the discomfort.
Moving the narrative forward. Which brings us to the ultimate test of this story. Once she processes this new data, she has to actually do something with it.
Action is required.
Right. She has to bridge the massive canyon between her newly discovered personal truth, her feelings for her friend, and her family's heavy traditional expectations.
A very daunting task.
So she decides to sit down and have a highly courageous conversation with her parents.
Setting the psychological stage, and this is where so many people falter in life. We often construct massive mental walls when dealing with authority figures or older generations.
Oh, definitely.
We project our own fear of rejection onto them, deciding in advance that they will never understand us.
We assume the tradition is just too rigid to bend.
Exactly. So we do not even give them the opportunity to surprise us.
Animated. And the surprise here is beautiful. She respectfully explains her feelings, honoring their role in her life, but firmly stating her truth.
And how do they react?
Well, instead of forcing the tradition, instead of demanding she follow the map they drew for her, the parents immediately pivot.
They prioritize her.
Yes, they state clearly that her happiness and emotional fulfillment are infinitely more important to them than any societal expectation.
Deeply moved, it highlights the powerful mechanics of intergenerational dialogue. The lesson here is that when a tradition is rooted in genuine care and protection rather than just control, love acts as an incredibly adaptive mechanism.
It bends.
It bends. Open, respectful communication has the power to bridge divides that we assume are uncrossable.
Bringing the focus back. So with the blessing of her family, the narrative concludes with the woman returning to the man. She commits to giving their love a real chance.
But with a caveat.
Right. The source material is careful not to paint this as a flawless victory. She promises to face all future challenges together.
Grounding the romance, yes, and that is a vital distinction. The decision to build a life together is not a magical fairy tale ending where the compass suddenly leads to a paved road.
No, the terrain is still wild.
Exactly. It is an active, daily mechanism of mutual understanding. They have traded the guaranteed security of the map for the shared, often difficult adventure of the compass.
It will require daily recalibration.
Daily recalibration.
Using words, reflecting deeply. The shared adventure of the compass. We have unpacked some incredibly dense psychological terrain today.
We certainly have.
We analyzed the structural foundation of the map versus the wild passion of the compass.
Yeah.
We looked at the neurological paralysis of fear.
Necessity of radical honesty to force a system update.
Right. And how open dialogue can dismantle the mental walls we build between generations.
Calmly, it is a profound amount of human experience to process. And as we conclude our analysis of this beautiful story, we want to turn the focus outward, directly to you, the listener.
Speaking directly and warmly. We spent today analyzing this dynamic through the lens of a romantic relationship. But I want you to think about how this applies to the rest of your life.
Your whole life.
Think about your career, or perhaps a creative passion you have been ignoring. Are you currently sitting in a job or a situation that you merely tolerate, simply because it is the safe, vetted map?
It's a tough question to ask yourself.
It is. What if the exact same radical vulnerability required to speak up to a best friend is the very courage you need to quit that comfortable situation and follow your professional true north?
Softly, encouragingly. Leaving the map behind is deeply frightening, but the unfamiliar terrain is often where our greatest potential lies.
You just have to be willing.
You simply have to be willing to take the first uncertain step.
Upbeat, motivating. We genuinely hope this deep dive has provided you with valuable insights and perhaps the exact spark of courage you need to examine your own compass today.
We truly do.
If you found value in our conversation, we would be incredibly grateful if you could subscribe to the channel and like this video.
Warmly supporting. And please share this deep dive with your friends and colleagues who are on their journey to learning and mastering the English language.
It makes a huge difference.
It really does. Analyzing complex emotional narratives like this is a powerful way to absorb high-level vocabulary while exploring meaningful life concepts.
Radiating positivity.
Absolutely. You are never alone in your journey of learning and self-discovery. Just as the characters in our story chose to face the unknown together, you have a community right here ready to support you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for sharing your valuable time with us today. Keep learning, keep trusting your compass, and we will see you in the next deep dive.